Okay, welcome back. Now it's time for culture, and this Wednesday, as every Wednesday, it's a special look at style. And so I'm joined by our online style specialist, Jessica Michault, who's the the editor of International Herald Tribune online. We're talking about jewels. Now, that's fun because obviously, in light of a global economic recession, you wouldn't have thought many people wanted to dip their hands deep into their pockets to spend a fortune, but no, it seems they are.
Yeah, I know it seems a bit surprising that jewelry would be such a hot topic right now. But we're talking really about high jewelry here, not fine jewelry. High jewelry is price tags start at about tens of thousands to millions as opposed to a couple of thousands, which is fine jewelry. And it's a real accumulation of events that are happening this year that have really brought high jewelry, which is a real niche market up in the upper echelons of jewelry, into the limelight.
Okay, we're giving it a bit more publicity then, presumably, is Louis Vuitton and their big latest venture there.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Louis Vuitton has finally launched into high jewelry. They showed their first collection of high jewelry during the last round of fashion shows here in Paris. They've teamed up with the jeweler Laurence Baumer, who has now been named the fashion director for the House for High Jewelry. And it's the collection called L'Âme du Voyage, or the Soul of Travel, and it's a collection of 6 different sets. So a set is a necklace, a ring, earrings, and maybe a bracelet or two. And it's inspired by the designer's travels throughout the world, which is quite fitting with the history of Louis Vuitton. Which is also interesting is that what you're seeing in the jewelry is a bit of Louis Vuitton. You're seeing the logo kind of appear. Specifically, there's one necklace that almost looks like a Maasai warrior headpiece or necklace piece. Yeah, which is amazing. But you also see the Louis Vuitton logos, the flower pieces appearing in that piece. So it's really Louis Vuitton. There's no mistaking it for any other brand. And to really kick things off, Louis Vuitton went on the hunt for one amazing piece. And what they came up with was one exquisite diamond it's a 30-carat diamond that they cut into the logo of the Louis Vuitton flower. It took a man who spent 50 years cutting diamonds, 2 months to create, and it hasn't been sold yet. But the idea hasn't been sold yet, but they're hopeful. But the idea is that once it's sold, that the designer and the House of Louis Vuitton will work in collaboration with whoever purchases it to create an amazing necklace around it, or bracelet, or maybe one amazing ring. So
now they do say that, of course, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and presumably, obviously, everyone loves a diamond. I don't know anyone who doesn't, but it is a bit of a gamble by Louis Vuitton, though, to just basically spend a fortune destroying or moulding a beautiful diamond into their own logo.
Yes, but you'd be surprised. There are quite a lot of people who like the Louis Vuitton logo, and I think that this particular item is probably designed for maybe the Asian market where logos are quite hot, or maybe somebody out of Russia, who knows.
Okay.
But what I think is really interesting about this partnership is this growing idea of partnerships, because we're seeing a lot of these houses, older houses, 100-year-olds, 150-year-old houses, going outside of their house to look to go with other creative entities to create pieces that are really interesting and one of a kind. And one of the best people out there that's doing it is Boucheron. They celebrated last year their 150th anniversary with some amazing one of a kind pieces. They teamed up with Maison de Chocolat to create a necklace covered in chocolate, and with Virtue luxury phones to create diamond and jewel encrusted phones with flowers all over them. And then most recently this year, a partnership with Mark Newson for a one of a kind necklace that's actually based on a mathematical equation called fractals. It's called the Julia necklace. I think it was shown for a week, and it's over $1 million, and it was sold within a week. So that's quite exciting. But their most recent collaboration is with a young British designer known for his work with Alexander McQueen. His name is Sean Len. And he has created a one-of-a-kind piece for them. He was interviewed by a fashion website called fashionaire.com, and we have a clip of him explaining his collaboration with Boucheron.
Countess Castiglione, the mistress of Napoleon III. She was the ultimate beauty, and as time went on and her affair with Napoleon crumbled, she shrouded herself away in the apartment and would only go out at night because she didn't want anybody to see her aging beauty. And I researched and found a flower that blossomed in the evening called Queen of the Night. So the idea is I would have the flowers all closed, and that's her hidden beauty and the mystery of the Countess. And then when she comes out in the evening, then the flowers would open, and then this is the pure impact of her beauty. 1,600 hours to make. It is totally pavé set in sapphires. The leaves are set with cognac diamonds. There's a minimum of 4,000 stones. And then you have the 17-carat pear-shaped, colour-changed sapphire, which is a very rare stone.
I mean, they sure are absolutely stunning, there's no doubt about it, but it's not exactly obtainable, is it, for those of us on a more modest budget, perhaps?
I know. It's hard to see something that beautiful and know you can never have it. But, I mean, Boucheron was thinking about, a broader audience. It's come up with an e-commerce website. It launched about 2 years ago, which it sells its fine jewelry, which is a bit more attainable for the rest of the world. But it also has a section on there for its high jewelry, and even a customization section, so that if you want to go on and, create one of their iconic pieces with your own design, with your own diamonds and sapphires and rubies, you can put it together yourself and really create one-of-a-kind piece just for you. So that's a nice way of kind of mixing the two mediums. Another major name in fashion, jewelry and luxury, is Faberge, famous for those bejeweled eggs from Russia. But they've gone ahead and launched a 100-piece jewelry line, high jewelry line, this year. They decided, quite interestingly, to only sell exclusively on the web, on their website, Faberge.com. So the idea being, according to the CEO, Mark Dunhill, is that their clientele really wants to have a private interaction. They're kind of reclusive and don't want to have to go into a store, so they can just go onto the website. Although I find the website quite antiquated. You go on, you have to log in your information, and then somebody gets in contact with you, and then they create a virtual studio for you. So it's a lot of different steps, and then they'll even bring you the jewelry if you want to take a look at it in person.
Okay, you can't just skip to that bit.
No, unfortunately, you have to go through all the hoops. Absolutely, but there are what I think is really quite interesting is that when you're buying a big piece of jewelry, you want to actually have it in your hands and take a look at it, because it's quite an investment, and it's also an investment in the future. It'll be for generations to come, and there are quite a lot of houses that are hundreds of years old. Another one that's celebrating 125 years is Bulgari this year, and another big name is Verdura, which is famous for its Chanel cuffs that it created for Coco Chanel. It's called the Maltese cross cuff, and they're really kicking it into gear this year. The chairman and CEO named his 30-year-old son the president this year, and so they're rolling out major distribution, a larger line of jewelry, and also an e-commerce site is in the works. And to kind of celebrate the 70-year anniversary, they've created 70 of these Maltese cuffs for purchase at $65,000, so a perfect choice for Christmas, I think, this year.
Yeah, well, I don't know, you might have more generous friends than I do, sadly. $65,000 is quite a hefty price tag. Maybe we could start a fund. Thank you very much for that, Jessica. Be sure you'll be back, hopefully with me, next week, next Wednesday. In the meantime, though, to continue our culture show, Manaus, in the middle of the Amazon forest in Brazil, may seem a strange place for a film festival. There isn't even a state-of-the-art cinema in the town of just 2 million, so the films have been shown at the Opera House. Now, the event aims to promote tourism and attract producers and directors from all over the globe, but its main goal is to use film in the fight against climate change. Take a look.
At the heart of the Amazon forest, the crossing of two rivers, the Rio Soliman and the Rio Negro, along which lies the city of Manaus, a metropole of almost 2 million inhabitants, which for the last 6 years has welcomed the Amazonas Film Festival, which hopes to highlight the world's beauty and its precarity. The celebrities gathered on the red carpet have more in common than their love of cinema. They want to use film in the fight against climate change.
Manaus is in the heart of the Amazon, surrounded by the rainforest. It is the place to talk about adventure and the environment.
Godmother to this year's festival, French actress Carole Bouquet. She's a woman who knows the power a movie can have.
For me, it was the killing fields that really made me walk away, thinking, okay, either you get involved or you stay quiet about it. There's no point in just crying over it, or they're just crocodile tears. And it's the same for the environment. If the images shock, they can get people to get involved. They can awake a sense of civic duty.
Exploring the themes of ecology, ethnology and wildlife, the films shown are designed to disturb, to spark debate. Crude tells the story of one of the largest and most controversial lawsuits of the planet. Set in the Amazon jungle of Ecuador, it pits 30,000 rainforest dwellers against US oil giant Chevron.
Most marginalized people on Earth.
Real-life drama continues with documentaries on the gold diggers. Dirty Paradise brings us to French Guiana, where the survival of thousands of Indians was threatened by uncontrolled exploitation. From the Amazon to Africa, the reports of destruction repeat, and the message is clear. Framed by the Amazonian rainforest, Manaus has chosen to stage a festival designed to play a role in the defence of its natural heritage.
Okay, well, that's it then for culture, and that's it for this news hour. Weather is up next. It's over to Marcus Carlson, top of the hour, with another run through of all the main international news headlines. So do stay with us on France 24.